Hello, my name is Andrea Wells, and I'm going to talk about my paper overview for the Applied Social Engineering class for the summer class at DePaul. The paper layout. So what am I going to do for this paper? I'm going to do the topic of understanding social engineering, essential skills for today's students. The paper is going to be focused on the key topics that we discussed in class and why they're important for students to understand them. I want to show you that I have an overall understanding of the class and that I can actually apply it in a real world setting to my classroom. Now, why is this topic really important? I think this topic is really important because I think we need to start teaching skills, not just the curriculum, and we need to help them navigate the world that they're living in. We also need to create those lifelong habits, and we need to help protect them and businesses that they're going to be representing. We are kind of on the front lines of being able to do this. It's a long game that we play as teachers, but it is something by building awareness with these students that we can actually make an impact in the overall their lives and also the businesses out there. Now, a paper breakdown out there, what I'd like to do is I'd like to follow kind of what we did in the class, talk a little bit about social engineering examples, science of persuasion, target profiling, traditional social engineering, the ambient tactical deception, understanding of propaganda, social engineering ethics, and then kind of combine that all together and talk about why teachers need to teach these subjects and social engineering, not just in like our cybersecurity class. We do touch on this to some degree, but how we need to always kind of continue learning and evaluate and figuring out what is the best for our students that are coming in the world that they're living in. So that's kind of what I'd like to do with the paper. I'd also like to pair that paper with some of my overview of a unit. Because we are so rushed during the year, I went ahead and created a whole lesson plan unit around social engineering from the topics that we did in class. I included the activities that we did as homework that we created for our students based on the homework, and I paired that with a breakdown of how I would go ahead and do the Google Slides along with the links of how I create those for them for their learning management system. Now, we've focused on the same things we talked about in class: social engineering basics. We'd have a case study, persuasion, and we do a group activity. Lesson 3, think like a hacker. That's where you would do an email with malicious links. You targeting a cooperating teacher or a parent. Phishing, that's where you would do an exit ticket or a lab where you have an attacker and a victim. We'd also illustrate man-in-the-middle attacks with a case study, looking at different attacks that's happened, featuring man-in-the-middle attacks. Propaganda, that's where we'd have them create a brochure, flyer, or poster of their choice and then present it to the class, talking about their targets, things like that. Ethics, we talk about that in lesson 7, do a case study on how misinformation spreads. And then the summative assessment would be, the overall summative assessment would be a Google slide presentation where we pretend that they're doing a lunch and learn, and they have to present on the topic of social engineering and all the aspects that we talked about in this unit, and then they have to present it to the class. If for some reason I have not touched on any of the topics that you want for the paper or for the lesson or activities portion of the class, please let me know, and I'll be happy to make any kind of changes that are needed. Have a great day.
Where is the up on her?